reports a spokeswoman said on Monday the German Economy Ministry is examining the impact of U.S. sanctions against Huawei Technologies on German firms.
Reuters reports a spokeswoman said on Monday the German Economy Ministry is examining the impact of U.S. sanctions against Huawei Technologies on German firms.
U.S. President Donald Trump's administration on Thursday added Huawei to a trade blacklist.
U.S. President Donald Trump's administration on Thursday added Huawei to a trade blacklist,
immediately enacting restrictions that will make it extremely difficult for the company to do business with U.S. counterparts.
Immediately enacting restrictions that will make it extremely difficult for the company to do business with U.S. counterparts. Reuters reports a spokeswoman said on Monday the German Economy Ministry is examining the impact of U.S. sanctions against Huawei Technologies on German firms. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration on Thursday added Huawei to a trade blacklist, immediately enacting restrictions that will make it extremely difficult for the company to do business with U.S. counterparts.
Business Insider reports Google severed business ties with Huawei following an executive order from U.S. President Donald Trump blacklisting the company.
Business Insider reports Google severed business ties with Huawei following an executive order from U.S. President Donald Trump blacklisting the company.
American companies have to seek government approval before dealing with the company after it was placed on an entity list by the U.S. Commerce Department.
American companies have to seek a government approval before dealing with the company after it was placed on an entity list by the U.S. Commerce Department.
Google has stopped rolling out Android updates to Huawei devices, and new Huawei phones won't have access to services like Gmail, but existing Huawei customers won't be cut off.
Google has stopped rolling out Android updates to Huawei devices, and new Huawei phones won't have access to services like Gmail, but existing Huawei customers won't be cut off.
According to Reuters, the U.S. Homeland Security Department is considering tapping more than $230 million from the Transportation Security Administration to fund border operations.
According to Reuters, the U.S. Homeland Security Department is considering tapping more than $230 million from the Transportation Security Administration to fund border operations.
NBC News reported the plan earlier, citing documents of a contingency plan to fund $1.1 billion in border efforts.
NBC News reported the plan earlier, citing documents of a contingency plan to fund $1.1 billion in border efforts.
The TSA could shift $50 million that had been set aside to buy advanced airport screening equipment.
The TSA could shift $50 million that have been set aside to buy advanced airport screening equipment.
The U.S. House Appropriations Committee said that it had not received any notification from DHS that it plans to shift existing funds.
The U.S. House Appropriations Committee said it had not received any notification from DHS that it plans to shift existing funds. According to Reuters, the U.S. Homeland Security Department is considering tapping more than $230 million from the Transportation Security Administration to fund border operations. NBC News reported the plan earlier, citing documents of a contingency plan to fund $1.1 billion in border efforts. The TSA could shift $50 million that have been set aside to buy advanced airport screening equipment. The U.S. House Appropriations Committee said it had not received any notification from DHS that it plans to shift existing funds.
According to a report by Reuters, British chip designer ARM halted relations with Huawei.
According to a report by Reuters, the British chip designer ARM halted relations with Huawei.
Compliance with the United States blockade of the company, potentially crippling the Chinese telecom company's future.
In compliance with a United States blockade of the company, potentially crippling the Chinese telecom company's future.
Along with Apple and chip makers like Qualcomm, Huawei uses ARM blueprints to design the processors that power its smartphones.
Along with Apple and chip makers like Qualcomm, Huawei uses ARM blueprints to design the processors that power its smartphones.
An ARM spokesman reportedly said in a brief statement,
An ARM spokesman reportedly said in a brief statement,
ARM is complying with all of the latest regulations set forth by the U.S. government.
ARM is compliant with all of the latest regulations set forth by the U.S. government.
The spokesman for Huawei reportedly said, "We are confident this regrettable situation can be resolved."
A spokesman for Huawei reportedly said, "We are confident this regrettable situation can be resolved."
Our priority remains to continue to deliver world-class technology and products to our customers around the world.
And our priorities remains to continue to deliver world-class technology and products to our customers around the world. According to a report by Reuters, British chip designer ARM holding relations with Huawei in compliance with a United States blockade of the company, potentially crippling the Chinese telecom company's future. Along with Apple and chip makers like Qualcomm, Huawei uses ARM blueprints to design the processor that power its smartphones. An ARM spokesman reportedly said in a brief statement, ARM is compliant with all of the latest regulations set forth by the U.S. government. A spokesman for Huawei reportedly said, "We are confident this regrettable situation can be resolved, and our priority remains to continue to deliver world-class technology and products to our customers around the world."
According to Reuters, Ford Motor Company will cut 10% of their white-collar jobs as part of a global restructuring plan.
According to Reuters, the Ford Motor Company will cut 10% of their white-collar jobs as part of the global restructuring plan.
The number 2 automaker plans to cut about 7,000 jobs by the end of August, which will include 10% of its global salaried workforce.
The number 2 automaker plans to cut about 7,000 jobs by the end of August, which will include 10% of its global salaried workforce.
The restructuring is estimated to save Ford about $600 million annually.
The restructuring is estimated to save Ford about $600 million annually.
Ford Chief Executive Officer Jim Hackett said the staffing cuts will include voluntary buyouts and layoffs, while open positions will be frozen.
Ford Chief Executive Officer Jim Hackett has said that staffing cuts will include voluntary buyouts and layoffs, while open positions will be frozen.
Hackett added that Ford's goal is to reduce bureaucracy, empower managers, and speed up decision-making.
Hackett added that Ford's goal is to reduce bureaucracy, empower managers, and speed up decision-making. According to Reuters, the Ford Motor Company will cut 10% of their white-collar jobs as part of the global restructuring plan. The number 2 automaker plans to cut about 7,000 jobs by the end of August, which will include 10% of its global salary workforce. The restructuring is estimated to save Ford about $600 million annually. Ford Chief Executive Officer Jim Hackett said the staffing cuts will include voluntary buyouts and layoffs, while open positions will be frozen. Hackett added that Ford's goal is to reduce bureaucracy, empower managers, and speed up decision-making.
On Wednesday, the Trump administration banned Chinese electronics company Huawei from buying parts from U.S. companies without the government's approval.
On Wednesday, the Trump administration banned Chinese electronics company Huawei from buying parts from U.S. companies without the government's approval.
Markets Insider reports that while some experts say the ban could have negative implications for U.S. technology companies, including Apple,
Markets Insider reports that while some experts say the ban could have negative implications for U.S. technology companies, including Apple,
China on Monday said it would hike tariffs on $60 billion worth of U.S. goods in a retaliatory measure after the U.S. last week raised tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods.
China on Monday said it would hike tariffs on $60 billion worth of U.S. goods in a retaliatory measure after the U.S. last week raised tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. On Wednesday, the Trump administration banned Chinese electronics company Huawei from buying parts from U.S. companies without the government approval. Market Insider reports that while some experts say the ban could have negative implications for U.S. technology companies, including Apple, China on Monday said it would hike tariffs on $60 billion worth of U.S. goods in a retaliatory measure after the U.S. last week raised tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods.
On Monday, a California jury awarded more than $2 billion to a couple who...
On Monday, a California jury awarded more than $2 billion to a couple
who claimed Bayer AG's glyphosate-based Roundup weed killer caused their cancer.
Bayer AG's glyphosate-based Roundup weed killer caused their cancer.
Reuters reports that this is the largest U.S. jury verdict to date against the company in litigation over the chemical.
Reuters reports that this is the largest U.S. jury verdict to date against the company in litigation over the chemical.
The German chemicals giant faces more than 13,400 U.S. lawsuits over the herbicide's alleged cancer risk.
The German chemicals giant faces more than 13,400 U.S. lawsuits over the herbicide's alleged cancer risk. On Monday, a California jury awarded more than $2 billion to a couple who claim Bayer AG's glyphosate-based Roundup weed killer caused their cancer. Reuters reports that this is the largest U.S. jury verdict to date against the company in litigation over the chemical. The German chemicals giant faces more than 13,400 U.S. lawsuits over the herbicide's alleged cancer risk.